Thank you again for joining us today for the Canvas LMS and Elcom portal webinar. My name's Josh Anstey, and I'm joined today by my co-panelist, Chris Barnes, as well. Our webinar today, Canvas LMS and the Elcom portal, discover how two best-in-breed solutions have formed one seamless school approach. We're really excited to run through everything with you today. Jumping into it, I'd like to hand over to Chris just to give a quick introduction of himself as well.
Hi, good morning, everyone. As Josh mentioned, my name is Chris Barnes. I'm a Regional Director for Instructure, working with Canvas. My role is to help support schools that are looking to improve the learning journey and learning outcomes of their students. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I spent 12 years working at universities before moving to vendors. I was originally attracted to work with Instructure and Canvas in particular because of their approach to making technology so seamless and easy for teachers and learners. So yeah, I'm very lucky to work in the K-12 space and help schools across the country.
Thanks, Chris. And for those that don't know me, my name is Josh Anstey. I'm the Customer Solutions Director at Elcom. Elcom is a school digital engagement platform. We make it really easy for schools to improve communication with their school community, including parents, teachers, students, and staff. And we integrate the best-of-breed solutions such as Canvas to deliver personalized and engaging school portal and website experiences. So we're really excited to be presenting with everyone today. I'll hand over to Chris to kick things off with the agenda and the content.
Great, thanks, Josh. Yeah, so what we want to talk to you about today is some of the challenges that respectfully we see with our different aspects of working with schools. So really discussing those challenges. We also, so stand by, we've got a poll for you. We'd like to get your feedback and your engagement in this process because we'd like to hear your views. We're then going to talk to you a little bit about the new approach, new solutions to helping solve some of these challenges. We're also going to give you a quick overview of our respective platforms, and then we'll finish up with a case study and some Q&A. As mentioned, this is very much about community engagement. So we'd love your thoughts, we'd love your questions, we'd love your ideas if you'd like to share them. You can send them through at any point. We'll just wait until the end until we go through them though. Okay, so just starting off, the reasons why I end up talking to a lot of schools is just really to help with supporting that fragmentation that a lot of schools are encountering, both from a student perspective and from a school perspective. As there are new initiatives and new directives the school wants to achieve, so whether that's bringing in BYOD or supporting a one-to-one initiative, or even just trying to use different tools as the technology landscape changes, and how do the school empower and enable them and don't make them sort of silos, and always ready to experience new and different technological services as they appear on the landscape, but without fragmenting that learner experience. How do they make it so that it's seamless for the child to do the work and do what they need to, whilst making it seamless for the teacher to do their job in supporting that student? And as you can see on the right-hand side, we have a number of different areas around the sort of schools initiatives as well. So it's really about tying that all together.
Perfect. And just to continue what Chris has been talking about, if we look at the school community, including parents and staff and students, they have a lot of similar challenges to how they get access to that information. And really that communication strategy hasn't been addressed in the last 10 years or so, especially with the growth of one-to-one and parent communication. It's really turned into a scenario where parents want to access information in a way that makes sense to them, and they want to choose how they get that information. So ultimately, there are so many different sources that the message is just not being received, it's not being delivered. And there's a few key areas we can look at. Personalization, in terms of delivering relevant and personalized information to those parents or staff members or students, depending on who they are. News, making sure that they're getting relevant news and information tailored to the subject or year group or sport or whatever it might be. With forms as well, so there's really still too much paper and manual processes, and those can be automated with online forms and workflow. So we want to make it really easy for parents to complete and submit this information to the school so that the schools can quickly and easily collect and manage the data, and that removes any chance of error with manual handling and manually entering the data into a system. Community engagement's a really big one. Chris mentioned that a couple of times. It's a really big community. It's very on the go, and obviously parents aren't at the school every single day, so how do you keep engaged with them and keep communicating with them in a consistent, personalized way? With calendars as well, we really see calendars as a key area to bring in the school together, and there are so many different systems, so many things happening every single day, so we want to make it really easy to ensure that you can deliver the right message of what's on, what events, what activity in a personalized calendar view. And finally, with policies and a policy bank and policies and procedures, making sure that you can deliver the right policy, the accurate policy, the most relevant policy to the right and the appropriate users, depending again on what information they need to see. We're going to jump up and put a poll on the screen now. So we're about to share a poll, and you will see that pop up on your screen. If everyone could please jump in and vote. The poll is, how would your school usually solve challenges like learner fragmentation and school-wide communication? And there's a few different options there to select from. We haven't encountered these challenges yet. Allow departments to make their own decisions. Find the best tools and integrate it with our systems. Try and find a single solution that fixes all the issues. So as Chris mentioned, we're really interested in how you deal with these challenges and how you solve them. So if you want to jump onto the poll over there, just take 1 second just to quickly click whichever option you feel is the most relevant. Fantastic. All right, we'll close off the poll over there. So I think it's, there's some really interesting results there, and we'll quickly share them for a second and quickly discuss those. So we'll see that no one answered that they haven't encountered these challenges yet. So that's obviously good and consistent with, I guess, what Chris and I see in different schools we're talking to every single day. 20% of respondents said allow departments to make their own decisions. So that's quite interesting in terms of having different departments selecting what systems they want to use in their area. The majority, or 50%, said they'd find the best tools and integrate it with our other systems. And 30% said they'd try and find a single solution that fixes all the issues. So really interesting to see those results over there. And definitely there are consistencies, I guess, that align with how we look at everything, and definitely trying to find the best tools and integrate it with other systems. I'll hand back over to Chris now.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, those results are really interesting, and certainly something that I have seen in my discussions with schools. The obvious one, I think, for a lot of schools is to try and find a single vendor solution that's one platform to provide everything. And history has shown us that typically that whilst that can meet your current needs, it doesn't always meet your future needs. And you know, there's a really great example, I think, certainly when it comes to hardware, where like a TV VCR, where that was the ultimate solution. You know, this reduces that clutter, this reduces the problem, and it was great up until DVDs came out, and then you replaced it a DVD with a TV DVD player, and then Blu-ray came out, and we're like, right, okay, we need to buy a new TV Blu-ray player. And then streaming came out, and so I think it gets very common to do this. And I think particularly when it comes to software, people just want the one solution to provide everything. And what I'd like to do is actually talk to you now a little bit about a different way of approaching this. And if we can go to the next slide, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about a multi-vendor approach, because I think when this comes about, you know, there's a natural hesitancy that people, schools, you know, they don't necessarily want to connect things. But when you look at the market as a whole globally, you know, there is an interest in sort of cloud-based solutions, and a lot of educational institutions are moving away from that sort of single solution and software from a single vendor to a multi-vendor approach. And the advantage of this is threefold. From a new technology perspective, with the establishments of sort of standards and interoperability between software, it's made it easier for best-of-breed applications to coexist, both in the cloud and on-premise if necessary. The other one is around better functionality. Single vendor solutions often have a wide-ranging functionality, but can be quite limited or require extensive customization in areas to meet the school's needs. Whereas on the other hand, developers of best-of-breed solutions have much more extensive domain experience and provide the various stakeholders the solutions that they require. The ultimate one, though, for me, is about risk mitigation. When there's a single vendor solution in play that's providing all solutions, that, you know, as a customer, you're very dependent on that single vendor. You're dependent on their timeframes and their approach to doing with it, whether it's too hard or whether it fits on their roadmap or balancing up other tensions. And you can make an enormous commitment, which can be even more difficult to switch if you're unhappy with the cost or service or functionality. So the simple fact of the matter is it's very hard to be the best at everything. You know, an integrated solution might appear to be fantastic overall, but not every component of the module is going to be best of breed. With that multi-vendor or best of breed, you're kind of shifting that responsibility from a single vendor over to the school. And this is what a school's technology ecosystem looks like when you're going down a multi-vendor landscape. And Josh, do you want to just jump in here and just talk a little bit about your side of things?
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting when we look at the school's technology ecosystem and all the different solutions they have in place. And definitely what we see is around the portal is often that presentation layer that is the landing space, I guess, or launch pad often for delivering lots of different information, and whether it's surfacing it from could be analytics tools, it could be from the SIS or the SMS, or obviously from Canvas as well. It's bringing all that information together in a dashboard there and integrating to those best of breed, similar to what the majority of respondents to that poll had mentioned. It's integrating the best of breed solutions there and bringing that all together so that you've got the specific capabilities and information there around things such as calendars or timetables or news and notifications and forms and workflow, and really just bringing that all together, integrating to the other systems that are available. When we look at the website side of things, that's also really interesting around the external marketing. It's still got an element of being integrated, such as online enrollment forms and pushing that information back into the school information system, for example. So there's definitely that element of integrating and a best of breed solution there. And that is obviously that public facing, that marketing component. But definitely we see the portal as that landing page, that space to really come bring everything together and pull in and integrate with, you know, APIs and best practice to surface the right relevant information to users, so they've got that place they know they can go and access information they need. Chris, I'll let you jump in on the learning side of things there.
Yeah, I think Josh is spot on. So when you have all of these discrete solutions that are interconnected and interoperable, what you're actually doing is providing the end user a seamless experience where all these tools are complementary and enabling them to do very specific functions, but the workflows become seamless. So as Josh mentioned, with tying everything together as maybe the portal being the front sort of landing space for that user, but surfacing all the relevant data. So taking information from your SIS, which is talking directly to the learning management system, which is providing all the different instructional and collaboration tools where all the assignments, grades and analytics are undertaken and then reported back to the parent perhaps in that portal, providing that analytics package to the school executive about how the school is tracking. So you're just getting a much more seamless experience when everything's connected and integrated, but more importantly, reducing that risk for schools so they can pick the right tool to do the right job in the best way on the time frame and on the budget that suits them. So what I thought I'd do now is just show you a little bit very quickly around what the LMS provides. And when you're looking at sort of quizzing and engagement, providing students assignments and activities to measure and track and get an insight into their learning progress. So here's just a quick screenshot of our quizzing engine, which is, you know, there's a drag and drop article associated with a video. So you're really getting into the depths of their comprehension of that student and enabling them to move on with their learning journey. What you're also getting is seamless feedback and response. So being able to not only engage with that student, but provide timely feedback associated with rubrics. So speeding up the grading process, speeding up that insight back to the students to encourage their learning. And then if we go to the next slide, what we can see is around the analytics. Canvas provides very detailed analytics, both at a course level, at a student level, and ultimately at a school level, So they've got great understanding about from the learner's perspective how they're tracking, from the teacher's perspective how they're teaching and how their class is going, and then from a school perspective how everyone is doing. Obviously, the job of the school is to help support weaker students and encourage stronger students in the most effective and efficient manner. And tying that all together really helps improve that whole process, and then exposing it to the relevant stakeholders. And I'll let Josh take over about how you can leverage that data in a portal.
Yeah, so as Chris was mentioning, in terms of bringing that all together, so once you've got all that fantastic information, all learning information and courses in Canvas, if we log in over here and look at what a parent's experience might be like, or a student, for example, you can jump in here as a parent and have a look at your students and have a look at information that's being surfaced there. So you'll see on the right-hand side, I have information coming straight from Canvas, a live integration, live feed there. We can see grades of courses and see marks of recent tests and quizzes that have been completed. And there's also an example there of showing what's coming up and what assignments, activities, and information is coming up that parents might need to be aware of or they should be alerted to. And obviously students could see that as well. So it's a great example of bringing that all together. And then in the middle, we can see the student timetable that's coming from the school information system, for example. So in that experience over there, a parent can log into one location and they can see personalized and relevant information about their child and their learning experience, how they're going with specific courses, what assignments they have coming up, as well as what their actual timetable and schedule is looking like today, this week, or this month, for example. In terms of automating those processes, we spoke earlier about trying to reduce the manual work and the paper up and down and the manual processes. And you can see here with an absence notification, for example, you can jump in here and a parent can very quickly fill in an online absence notification that can go through the appropriate workflow, approval, and notification process in the school and update the school information system as well. So that brings that all together. I thought I'd very quickly give a case study of a school I think has done a really good job in bringing this all together, and that's with the Ascom school portal. And so Ascom were essentially looking for a single integrated platform for all their school communication information, and what they call the hub, which is their school portal, not only needs to better cater to people who use different devices, but also to give them choices around the type of information that they receive and how they could actually view that information. So their goal was really to deliver a personalized user experience. The majority of the information was quite general, and there was some information historically that was slightly personalized, and they wanted to really change that and make it a completely personalized and intuitive dashboard and experience to deliver personalized information to the school community. There was also a key focus on actually streamlining and automating a lot of those manual processes that take place. So we worked really closely with Ascom to deliver the new hub, and there were different phases with the launch for that. And one of the key goals around that was delivering and designing a solution that made it easy for users to access their dashboard, quickly access and find and search for school information and news, but they could have a quick look at new events and the calendars, as well as see notifications and notices. So what information do they really need to see right now? And that's able to be pushed to the user in a really timely manner. There's also the ability to personalize the calendar. So again, delivering a much more personalized communication experience for those parents or staff members or students. And ultimately, the whole concept, as Chris has been mentioning, around how do you integrate to best of breed solutions. So ensuring that there's tight integration to best of breed solutions and delivering that information for the school. So some of the key benefits that Ascom experienced, similar, they had a single integrated platform for all communication information, really bringing the information from a best of breed solution, easy access to relevant and accurate information, those personalized dashboards we spoke about, and they were also able to reduce the manual administration on the admin or school side to help drive and increase user engagement. And this actually is also an award-winning portal solution, and they have actually won international awards for this too. So I think that's a really good example or case study there of someone that essentially implemented and delivered exactly what we've been speaking about today.
If I can just jump in there, Josh, one of the things you touched on this that I think is just super impressive about Ascom is the fact that everyone just refers to it as the hub. They've tied together all those different systems They don't know necessarily the names of those different platforms. They just go to the relevant place for the relevant information. And delivering that kind of seamless end user experience is the ultimate goal I feel that most schools are looking for, because it reduces that fragmentation and that disparate connected approach that people are struggling with.
Often, people might call it the portal or something. I think it really is nice to give it a bit of a name or a nickname or a bit of a brand there as well. We're going to jump into the Q&A session to wrap everything up. So there's been a range of questions coming through. I'll probably read them out, and Chris, I'll let you jump in and maybe answer some of those.
Right, thanks,
so,
Josh.
Jamie, the first one, how is Elcom and Canvas integrated?
Great, thanks. So Canvas has open APIs that enables you to tie in and pull out all your relevant data and information. We believe we have a very open philosophical view, and it's important for everyone to have access to their data and their content. So what we do with Elcom is leverage those APIs so that the relevant information is surfaced into the portal. So you get that kind of seamless experience built out and personalized to exactly what you want to the relevant stakeholders and in the relevant fashion. It's actually quite simple because it's all kind of plug and play. But what Elcom does is expose it in a very clean and simple UI, leveraging those APIs to great effect.
Perfect. Yep, I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, we got the APIs and make it nice and easy. And I think just actually extend one little point about that is as Chris mentioned, Canvas have APIs and as does Elcom. And I think there were a lot of the respondents mentioned finding the best tools and integrating them and having that best of breed approach. And I think it's an important point to consider if you are evaluating solutions out there. Definitely one of the first questions you should be asking is does that solution have APIs that are available, well documented, that can be used to extend or integrate or customize? Because that's really going to help you deliver that digital vision of a best of breed and integrated solution. So yeah, you definitely want to be asking that as part of your assessment process. Do the solutions you're evaluating have well documented and open APIs there? Another one is, I might jump in on this one. Do users have to log in again when they move between the portal and the LMS? So as you saw, the information surfaced and authenticated, I guess, and we bring that information in for the users there. If you do click through to delve into that course, for example, as a parent, no, you don't have to re-log in. The user is known and identified, and so you're securely passed through to Canvas, for example, and you don't have to re-log in or remember your username and password. So that makes it really easy with that single sign-on and user authentication there. Another one, Chris, I'll pass this one over to you. Do you provide training?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Canvas, anytime anyone licenses a subscription with us, you get training as standard as part of our implementation process. But we also offer a range of on-site and customized training packages. We have numerous sort of webinars and live training sessions for people to attend, as well as community engagements, because it's not just about using the platform, it's about learning from your peers and learning how other schools are doing it. So we help facilitate those. We have both national, regional and international conferences as well for people to attend. And I think we've got one coming up in California in July, which would be a terrible thing for schools to have to attend, I feel.
Yeah, it's a great work trip, that one. So
yeah.
There you go. Another question over here, how easy is it for us to set up new online forms on the portal? That's a really good question. So for those that are familiar with Elcom or Canvas, it's really designed to be point and click and a really beautiful user experience for end users or non-technical users. So just like it's really easy point to click to create courses in Canvas, the exact same in the Elcom portal solutions. If you wanted to set up and create new online forms to automate those manual processes, it's literally point and click, drag and drop to set it up. So just like setting up those quizzes or those learning sessions that Chris was talking about, Elcom portal, point and click to set that up as well. Another question that's come through, there's a question here about case studies. Is there publicly accessible web page with case studies on, there was a question actually about the Aspen portal, but in general, yeah, definitely check out, there's a case study around the Aspen portal on the Elcom website, and also check out the Canvas website as well. There's tons of case studies there. So yeah, check out the Elcom website and the Canvas website. There are many case studies available in terms of how they've been implemented and best of breed there. There's another question as well around integrating to other systems. So it's a good question there. So if you want to integrate to other systems, as Chris was mentioning, both Canvas and Elcom have the open APIs and make it really easy for you to integrate and customize and develop. And we'll obviously work with you and understand what you're trying to do. It comes down to what those other systems are and what type of integration you're trying to do. So, again, do those systems have APIs? Do they make it really easy for you to do that type of integration, or is it, a little bit more difficult if there aren't APIs or more work's involved? So, it's definitely possible to integrate to other systems that you might want to bring into the Canvas and Elcom experience, but it comes down to what those systems are and the other, requirements you have with that integration.
Just to add a little bit to that, if I may, from a learning tool perspective, Canvas can integrate with any learning tool out there. We can help embed content. Some of them have more extensive integrations than others in terms of the feature affordances. That's very much dependent on the third-party app. So if we look at tools like Office or Google or YouTube, where we have very robust integrations, very deep integrations, you're getting a very seamless experience so that the end user doesn't necessarily recognize what the tool it is. They just understand the activity that they need to do. But it's actually very easy to do it and then leverage that integration and extend it further with Elcom's seamlessness of personalization. That's how you really do get that true rich end user experience.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is that the beautiful, rich, and personalized end user experiences. I think the big thing, that we all need to deliver to everyone, and I think, yeah, it's perfectly said there as well. Just conscious of time, one last question we'll quickly wrap up on is it mobile friendly? So yeah, definitely, both systems are mobile friendly, and again, everyone's trying to access information on the go. So it's about making it as easy as possible for users to access the information in a way that they want, on a device that they want, or a browser they want, or whatever it might be. So yeah, definitely, designed to make it as easy as possible for users to do that. I'm conscious of time as well. We're just about on time right now. So just wanted to say a quick thank you very much to everyone for joining today. Really fantastic to have everyone joining today, and the questions that have come through as well. And thank you very much to Chris for all your hard work and being part of the webinar today and co-presenting it as well. That's been fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
We're really excited to continue the conversation with everybody, and feel free to get in touch with us, with Canvas and Elcom, and more than happy to answer any questions or organize more detailed demos and run-throughs.